Finally, for social media can be a great tool when it comes to sharing information and providing some practical advice.
But could a recent viral post that you may have seen or shared end up doing more harm than good? Here's the post. It says that if you get stranded and you notice your cell phone is low on power, you should change your voicemail message to provide a location, time, date, and what's going on. It seems like good advice. But wilderness rescue teams in Colorado say it's not that simple. First of all, if you're in a remote area, you may not have service and you don't have a signal, then you can't change your voicemail anyway. But that's not the only problem with the post. Well, I believe we're having technical difficulties with that soundbite there. And unfortunately, I do not have the script to read what they did say in the soundbite. So we'll have to make sure we get more of that information to you. But you have more, Joe.
Yeah, we can tell you those search and rescue workers recommend these tips if you are stranded somewhere. Rely on text messages to preserve your battery. Turn off other apps. Some may run in the background, which could also drain your battery. Also, how about this? Keep your phone warm. Apparently, keeping it warm can help the battery stay alive longer. And stay put after calling for help. But they say, most importantly, tell someone about your plans before heading out.
Smart things.
Yeah. I saw that voicemail post and I was wondering, but if maybe you don't have service, I was wondering about that.
Well, so now you know what to do.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for Fox 8 News at 4 o'clock.
But Joe and I will be right back. We're staying here for Fox 8 News at 5. We'll see you in 60 seconds.
This is for women like us. Being overlooked.
Overpaying $60 for hair treatments,
when Pantene Miracle Rescue repairs signs of damage just as well.
and leaves hair ready for more heat,
More color.
More damage. More of everything it takes to look as great as we feel.
Because we're over being told we still got it.
When the truth is, we never lost it.
Pantene Miracle Rescue.
Welcome here to Fox 8 News at 5 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Natalie Herbick in for Tracy.
And I'm Joe Toohey. As we take a look behind us, we see these gray clouds moving in over Cleveland. Let's get right to Andre Bernier in the Weather Center with what we have coming our way, Andre.
All right. And, we have an awful lot of gray, and that's the almost our color of the season as we head into some of the darker, longer nights and shorter days. So get used to it. So for the time being, you try and look for color elsewhere. And we're going to have some measure of success. And that measure of success will be seen in the fall foliage. Well, this is Tuesday, October the 26th. And notice that the peak fall colors are pretty much right on top of us. And the colors this year really came on fast. Really this past weekend as the temperatures cooled off, so we have some decent color, but it's in pockets. And of course, with the wind that's blowing today, some of those leaves are getting stripped off of the trees. So, keep an eye on things. Keep your focus on some of those beautiful maples that are still showing and strutting their stuff, because pretty soon we're looking for past peak to be settling south. This is 1 week from now as we head to November 3rd, the first full week of November. November 1st will be on next Monday. And while we'll still see some color, it will be at that point past peak. The peak you're going to have to chase and go south, like southern Ohio into West Virginia. Parts of Virginia and even North Carolina will be near peak color. Now that peak goes south, notice as we head to Thanksgiving. Here we go, Thursday, November 25th. We showed this before, and there's a thin band of peak, but that peak color is really Not the same flavor or variety that we see here with all of our wonderful deciduous trees that give us such a beautiful show. Yeah, there will be some color with a few of the deciduous trees down in Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi, but it's, again, not the same peak here. That, in my humble opinion, is not worth chasing for. It might be in southern Ohio and West Virginia as we head into early November. All right, a quick look at the Berkeley Front Airport, because this is what we were talking about right at the top of the show. Lots and lots of gray. If you're looking for sunshine, that occurred well out to the west, and there were some scattered showers to the east. There'll be some nominal improvement that we'll start talking about coming up in the forecast in just a little bit. But nominal needs to be underscored. We'll, of course, keep you updated. More coming up in just a little bit.
All right, we'll see you soon, Andre. Well, the words water main break don't begin to describe the mess just off I-90 today. Water gushing out of the ground, covering South Marginal Road, and flooding the freeway.
Thankfully, traffic is moving once again, but the damage is already done. Fox 6's Alex Stokes is there now. She's joining us with more. Alex, what an afternoon.
Yeah, Natalie, Joe, I-90 is back open. Eastbound, westbound lanes moving normally, just in time for that evening commute. But this is after nearly 3.5 hours of traffic bottlenecking, particularly on the eastbound lanes. This all started around a little after 11:20-ish. And thankfully, the people who were stuck in their cars due to the water, those cars that had stalled there, they are okay. No injuries have been reported. But this was still less than ideal. We definitely were able to talk to one of the people who was stuck in the car. His was on the exit ramp coming I-90 eastbound onto East 55th, and his car, he said, it looked like a puddle, and he kept going, and it just kept rising higher and higher. I'll give you guys a little bit of a look behind me, just so you can kind of see what's going on here on South Marginal. South Marginal is still closed down. We do have some trucks coming back and forth as they try to repair the water main break. This was a 12-inch main break on South Marginal, according to Cleveland Water, and we definitely, again, just not an ideal situation.
Gushing water from a water main break, creating a traffic mess on I-90 during Tuesday's midday commute. Skyfox showing just how far the water spread, flooding the roads, the area around CubeSmart self-storage, and 2 cars that couldn't make it out.
It wasn't that deep, and then it got deeper and deeper.
Chuck Foyer's car began taking on water at the East 55th Street exit ramp.
I am taking the shoreway. It's 11:30, and I saw a little puddle. Try to get off at the exit. Car stalls, and then the water keeps on rising and rising until it went through the floorboards and came up about 4 or 5 inches.
Skyfox shows the moment he was rescued and taken to dry land.
The police officer came and took me out and walked me up here.
He says he took the ramp after seeing others drive up it.
Yeah, there were other people going ahead of it, yeah.
Traffic was severely restricted for hours as the water shut down not only 3 lanes of I-90 eastbound, but also seeped onto the westbound lanes.
In addition to the highway lane, South Marginal was closed from East 49th to East 55th Street.
That's where another car was trapped and where Cleveland Water says the 12-inch main broke. Around 1:30 p.m., they tweeted, quote, "Crews have operated valves to stop the flow of water. Flooding is subsiding, and once clear, repairs to the main can begin."
And again, I-90 is back open. South Marginal is still closed in that particular area while they finish cleaning all of this up. Cleveland Water says that the shutdown would not impact any other customer service in this area, as they were able to isolate the break area where that break happened. They also said that they are, quote, there are significant investments in this section of the distribution service area that is set to be starting work on in 2022. Back to you.
Alex, thank you so much. Thanks for that update there. So we're also staying on top of breaking news for you from the Food and Drug Administration. Just moments ago, the FDA advisors announced their endorsement of the Pfizer COVID vaccine for young children. This is in regards to kids ages 5 to 11 years old. The FDA panel voted unanimously, with one person abstaining, that the vaccine's benefit is preventing COVID-19 in that age group, outweighing any potential risk.
Now, the FDA is not bound by the panel's recommendation. It is expected to make its own decision within days. If the FDA authorizes the kid-sized doses, there's still another step. Next week, the CDC will have to decide whether to recommend the shots and which youngsters should get them.
Well, more than 4 years after a devastating arson took the lives of 7 members of a local family, including 5 children, the man who set that fire is going to prison.
That man found guilty of setting another fire that claimed the lives of 2 others, neighbors 1 year earlier. Fox 8's Dave Nethers was there, and he is learning his sentence. He joins us live. Wild day in court, Dave.
Yeah, indeed it was. We are in Akron, where the families of the victims here were far more composed and compassionate than the defendant himself, who barely escaped the death penalty but will never get out of prison. He was a Stanley Ford, many of us will remember, back in 2017, set fire, or was found guilty a month ago of setting fire to the home of a family that killed 7 people, including 5 young children, ages 16 months to 14 years. It was actually a fire that shook the community to its foundation, but a year earlier he was found guilty also of setting fire to another home in his neighborhood. People with whom he had disagreements, whose lifestyles, according to prosecutors during the trial, he very much disagreed with, and so they claimed during trial that he set fire to these homes just in retaliation or just as a vindictive move because he disagreed with the way they lived their lives. Part of this trial was video from homes that showed him coming and going from his house the night of the 2017 fire. And according to prosecutors today, 11 of the 12 trial jurors actually recommended the death sentence for Henry Ford when his trial ended last month. Today, however, the judge had the flexibility to agree with the jury's recommendation, and that was for life sentences instead. So he was given 9 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. Dave Nethers reporting live in Akron.
Dave, thank you. Our Fox 8 team is now tracking new clues in one of Northeast Ohio's greatest unsolved mysteries, the murder of young Amy Mihaljevic. We recently revealed new leads in this case. IT reporter Peggy Gallick shows us the next step towards cracking the case.
They were found 300 yards away from her body. Through the 32 years, we weren't positive what the relevance was of those 2 pieces of evidence because they were so far away from her body.
This green curtain and white blanket were found in Ashland County near the body of 10-year-old Amy Mihaljevic more than 30 years ago. 2 pieces of evidence investigators say may help solve the 32-year-old murder case. In 2016, detectives discovered that hair from Amy's dog was found on the curtain. A few weeks ago, detectives say they learned more.
Amy's hair was found on that curtain, so we know for a fact that her hair was on that curtain.
Now they are hoping to find someone that may remember that curtain that detectives believe was homemade.
It looks more like some type of a quilt that was made into a curtain.
Amy went missing on October 27, 1989, after she met an unknown man after school in a shopping plaza in Bay Village. She had told others she was meeting a man who she thought was going to help her pick out a gift for her mother. She was never seen alive again.
We're not going to give up. We're not going to give up.
While no arrests have been made, police say they do have a number of possible suspects.
We are currently looking at people as suspects. We do a lot of investigation into this case for a 32-year-old case. We have people that we're consistently looking at as far as suspects.
And they are hoping this curtain contains some more crucial evidence that they will soon find thanks to the latest DNA advancements.
If it leads us to one of the people that we're already looking at as a suspect, that would be a home run.
Detectives say they are continuing to investigate leads that they receive on this case, and there is a reward of up to $50,000 available for information that leads to the arrest and prosecution of the person who killed Amy. And Amy's father says he believes investigators will solve this case.
I've always had that in my heart that it's going to be resolved. He was some sort of girl, extremely intelligent. She probably, her thing was, I want to be Vice President of the United States.
In Bay Village, Peggy Gallick, Fox 8 I-Team.
Well, in Amy's honor, a 1-mile honor walk will take place in Bay Village tomorrow. It is the 32nd anniversary of her abduction. If you would like to learn more about that walk or how to contact detectives with tips on this case, please go to our website, fox8.com.
Police in Medina County are warning parents about a man who had been prowling around neighborhoods in his car and acting suspiciously around children. Fox 8's Jack Shea joins us live from the Hinckley Township Police Department with the story. Jack.
Joe, this is a very strange case, a strange story, because police say they actually know who the man is, but at this point, they have been unable to charge him with the crime. Monday night, witnesses report a suspicious car slowly driving through a neighborhood in Medina County's Granger Township as children play outside their homes. The car, described as a black Dodge Challenger with a silver gas cap and damage to the driver's side back bumper, has been on the radar of law enforcement agencies in Medina County for the past 6 months because of the odd behavior of the man behind the wheel. Witnesses have reported that at various times the prowler in the black Challenger had no shirt on and was attempting to take photos of children as he passed through their neighborhoods.
We know some friends on State Road that it's a few months back it happened to their daughter. So it's not something that just happened. This has been going on.
Fear about the man's motives have prompted some families to come up with a plan of action for their kids.
We already forewarned them earlier today that if by chance they're in the neighborhood and they're aware of the car, that they are to go to the nearest home.
It turns out police have identified the suspect in the Challenger and have questioned him several times, but he denied any wrongdoing and was let go because he had not committed an obvious crime.
And if they know who he is, they should have something on him. Get the job done.
Of major concern to law enforcement here in Medina County, the suspect has a pending criminal case in which he is accused of exposing himself at a grocery store. Police are asking parents to be vigilant, report any unusual activity involving the black Challenger, and to call 911.
Listen to your kids, because they'll tell you. If somebody's coming for them or looking at them, they'll tell you.
And police are also stepping up their patrols in the neighborhoods, but again, they need the families out there to be their eyes and ears. Joe?
All right, Jack, thank you.
A Fox 8 I-Team has found charges will not be filed in a hit-and-run case that left a woman with permanent injuries. I-Team reporter Ed Gallick is live, uncovering why. Ed?
Prosecutors have decided not enough evidence. Police identified 3 suspects, but justice for Yaya now on hold. Look at why. We can tell you that in 2019, Ayanna Barkley was hit in a hit-and-run on Cleveland's southeast side. Driver nearly killed her, but last year, the I-Team showed you, Cleveland police started filing charges against 3 people, charges for the crash and for covering it up. But now, Cuyahoga County prosecutors say they cannot take the case to a grand jury without more evidence. Ayanna's father has been fighting for justice. We caught up with him by phone. What does this mean for you in seeking justice for your daughter?
We must continue this fight in order to get justice for my daughter. And for that reason, I will never give up trying to prove this case.
Well, investigators did recover the car involved, but again, they feel they need just a bit more evidence. The one thing that could get this case moving, prosecutors say they need more proof of which suspect was actually driving at the moment of the hit and run. Live in the newsroom, Ed Gallick, Fox 8 I-Team.
And thank you. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Today, the Cleveland Clinic is announcing a major step forward in the battle against the disease. The incredible details of what they're doing still ahead this hour.
He was handed one of the most valuable footballs in NFL history, but did a Buccaneers fan get enough in return? See what Tom Brady gave him as a thank you.
Following an extremely successful 50th anniversary tour, Tina retired in 2009, holding on to her crown as the Queen of Rock and Roll. 2021 marks the second time that Tina will be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Her first was in 1991 as part of the group Ike and Tina Turner.